All right, guys. So in the last year alone, we've spent over $10 million in this ad account. As you can see here, from June to June, we've done a little bit over 10 million. I'm going to pull up the ad account real quick to show you guys that it's still live, active, and running. So again, you can see here the dates are selected from June to June. If I go ahead and refresh, you're going to see that in the last year alone, we've spent over $10 million in this ad account, right? And in this video, guys, I kind of want to break down how an account this size is actually built and managed. I also want to show you inside of the ad account and kind of walk you through our testing and scaling process. And then I want to end the video talking about the key metrics that I look at when I look at an ad account, as well as what most people do wrong and what kind of prevents them from succeeding in affiliate marketing. So in this account, we've only focused on affiliate campaigns. We run mainly to Nutra offers, mainly just weight loss. I like running to weight loss because it's one of the mass market accounts that gives you the biggest scalability. And as you can see here, we've spent over $10 million in the last year alone. So, I mean, that kind of shows you the scalability for this type of market and this type of product. And that's not even scratching the surface. I mean, there's plenty of other people that are doing tens of millions of dollars a month with weight loss. So it's one of those that the market is so huge and it's so competitive, but there's still space to come in because there's people constantly looking to buy products. And that's what I recommend when looking at offers. Okay, we'll touch on offers in just a second here, but I won't be covering what the profit margin is for this account. For an account this size, I kind of want to keep that a little bit more private. But even if the profit margin was 1%, I mean, that's still $100,000 in profit in the last year alone. Not to mention the 30 million potential credit card points that we have generated using the Chase Sapphire Business Reserve Card, which I'm going to save for another video. So definitely stay tuned for that. I'm going to be kind of going a little bit more surface level in this account, guys. But if you want to look at a more in-depth video, a 35-minute breakdown inside the account, kind of like talking a little bit more about the strategy, the exact ads that we use to run, there's going to be a link down below. But I just want to go ahead and start jumping into this video and start covering things that are going to actually help you kind of almost replicate these type of unicorn ad accounts, right? So the perfect storm for 8-figure AI affiliate campaign slash accounts, right? You need two things. You need a high converting offer and you need a unicorn ad account. Now, look, I'm not going to lie. Part of affiliate marketing sometimes can be just kind of getting lucky, right? Getting lucky with accounts, getting lucky with offers, but you can almost fabricate that luck and be able to replicate it over and over and over again if you follow certain steps, right? And it's really, at the end of the day, it's just a numbers game. If you only test one account, your probability of getting a unicorn ad account is going to be very slim. But if you test 10, 20, 30 accounts, the probability of you finding a handful of unicorn accounts is going to be much higher, okay? So what is a unicorn ad account? A unicorn ad account is what I consider an ad account that gives you golden traffic that converts, right? It's a little bit easier to get ads to convert. If you put ads in this account, most of the time they're going to do well and they're going to convert, or at least give you better positive signals than an agency account or a farmed account, okay? A unicorn ad account also has higher spending limits right from the get-go, or it increases the spending limit a lot faster. So you'll see on Facebook that your spend limit will go from $1,000 per day to $5,000 to $20,000 to $50,000 up to $100,000 per day. Or in some cases, if you verify your identity, you can spend up to $200,000 per day in that ad account. And again, guys, these ad accounts can kind of seem out of reach when you're first getting started. But look, in the last 6 years, out of the last 10 main ad accounts that I've run on, I've had 3 unicorn ad accounts, 2 that I've spent over 8 figures on, and 1 that I've spent $5 million on. So it's definitely possible to replicate these ad accounts through proper warmups. Okay. And in a second, I'm going to show you the building blocks for these unicorn ad accounts so that your probability of finding one of these unicorn ad accounts increases and you're able to scale and spend at least 6 figures up to 7 figures on your ad accounts. Okay. And then aside from the unicorn ad account, guys, we have the high converting offer. Now, look, in every single video that I make, I'm going to talk about high converting offers. Okay. If you don't have a good offer, you will not be able to scale. That it doesn't matter if it's for an affiliate campaign, an e-com campaign, no matter what you're promoting, a high converting offer is going to make your life so much easier. Okay. And like I mentioned, I like to go after mass market verticals and products because the scalability is there for those markets. So there's 2 trends of thoughts for high converting offers, right? Either offers that are converting well at the moment for other affiliates, or just being on top of the seasonal trends and knowing what offers to promote and when to promote them. Okay. But some of the mass market offers that I like and that I would recommend you getting into are going to be auto insurance, weight loss, health insurance, blood sugar, home improvement services, vision supplements, solar panels, dental supplements. And at the moment, guys, GLP-1s and peptides are huge. And if you can find a good network that has good offers for both GLP-1s and peptides, they can do extremely well at the moment. And now kind of going back to the unicorn ad accounts, I want to show you the building blocks for those unicorn ad accounts so that you have a higher probability to be able to build those ad accounts and find those ad accounts. So the first thing is to have an aged ad account, right? You want to have an account that has at least a little bit of age on it inside of your business manager. Preferably, your business manager also has some age on it. This is usually connected to a personal ad account. So a lot of mine have come from my own personal ad accounts, but you can find personal ad accounts from your significant other, from your parents, from your siblings, from relatives, from friends. I even used to go out and ask college kids to buy their Meta ad accounts, or used to be Facebook ad accounts, for like $100 a pop, right? And I was able to get a lot of personal ad accounts that way. So having a personal ad account with an aged ad account that has at least a couple months, or even better, a year or 2 years of age on the ad account, running low budget campaigns or even not running anything at all and just sitting there, is going to give you a leg up, and it's going to be better in Meta's eyes, right? And if you have a business manager where you can open up ad accounts, I would go ahead and start opening up the ad accounts, even if you're not going to use them. That way, they start building up some age. You can even start warming them up a little bit. Again, guys, the longer that they're open, that it's going to be a lot better and it's going to be more favorable for you. Up next, we have a high approval to disapproval ratio, and this kind of ties in tandem with having a warmed up fan page and a warmed up ad account. Okay, so typically before I start running any type of conversion campaigns on my account, I like to have at least 1,500 to 2,000 ads approved on my ad account. That way, if I launch a conversion campaign and one or two ads gets disapproved, I have a high approval to disapproval ratio, right? I have one ad that's disapproved for 2,000 ads that are approved. And you might be wondering, how do you get so many ads approved? Like, aren't you going to have to spend a lot of money? No, I only spend about $60 to $100 over the course of a month for this warm up period. Basically, it's just through page post engagement and page like ads. And this is going to tie in tandem again with warming up your fan page. You want to be posting to your fan page. You want to be running page like campaigns to your fan page to kind of build up a little bit of a following on the fan page. Now, these people are most likely not going to buy any of the products that you promote, but that's okay. It also acts as a form of insurance on the ad account, right? If you have safe spend on the ad, quote unquote, safe spend that Facebook likes, it's going to be better in their eyes, and it's just insurance, okay? Because again, the high approval to disapproval ratio is going to be huge. If you were to go ahead and start launching on an ad account, right, and you have no approvals on it, you have no disapprovals, you launch your first conversion campaign, and 3 out of the 10 ads that you have get disapproved. That means you have a 30% disapproval ratio, and that's a little bit more than what Facebook likes to see, right? But if you were to have 1,500 ads approved on there before you start running your first conversion campaign, and those 3 ads get disapproved, 3 against 1,500 is a huge difference, okay? So that's gonna make a very big difference when you're looking for those unicorn ad accounts. Now, after the high approval to disapproval ratio and kind of having that warm up insurance on the account, consistency with creatives is also going to be huge. Right now, with the new update with Andromeda, Meta loves to see consistency. They love to see new variations, whether that's a duplicate and identical duplicate of the ad that you're currently running, or just throwing in new variations into your campaign, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. Okay. And after the consistency with creatives, make sure that you have no payment method issues. Okay. If your card starts getting declined when Meta tries to charge it, it's going to have a negative ding on your ad account, and it's going to lower the trust score, and it's going to cause issues for you in the future. Okay. So make sure that if your limit on your credit card is $10,000 and you know you're nearing that limit, either try to pay off your card so that you can free up some space so that Meta can charge it, especially if you're scaling, or for a day or two, just kind of lower the budget a little bit so you don't go over that limit on your card. Your card doesn't block the payment and you have issues with your ad account in the future. All right, guys, so I want to jump back to the ad account real quick and kind of talk about CBO versus ABO. But real quick, as you can see here, the top 4 campaigns really spent the majority of the spend in this account here. The first campaign spent 75% of the total spend. The second campaign, just the first two, pretty much make up over 90% of the spend in this ad account alone. And then, as you can see, we have a couple of other campaigns that were some nice singles in the account. But again, the majority of the profit came from these 2 main campaigns. And we tested, I want to say, roughly around 40 to 50 campaigns in this ad account. As you can see, most of them only spent a couple $1,000s, tens of thousands of dollars. But as you can see, the cost per purchase was okay. These two here were the main ones that made us the majority of the profit. And this one here that spent $7.5 million was a CBO campaign, and the one that spent $1.8 million was an ABO campaign. Now, as you can see here, right, the ABO campaign had a much lower cost per purchase, but we were able to spend less because it took a lot more time to manage the ABO campaign. Because inside of this campaign here, if we can take a look, right, this has 247 ad sets. which individual budgets that needed to be managed on their own. Okay. So imagine every time that you check your ad account, you have to manage, 12, 15, 20, 50, 100 different ad sets. Go back to your tracker, kind of cross reference everything, make sure, okay, this one spent 13,000. How much did I have in sales for the day? This one spent X amount. How much did I have in sales? And you're doing that multiple times a day. And it does take a lot of time. But as you can see, at the end of the day, it was well worth it because we got an $80 cost per purchase on this campaign. The ROI was unreal on it. And it is a lot more manual work, and don't get me wrong, it's way better than working at a job, working a 9 to 5. Okay. But it does take a lot of effort. Whereas with this campaign here with the CBO, we were only managing the budget here, right? You only manage the budget once and then it kind of disperses the spend. It's very smart once it has a lot of data like this campaign had. This campaign had 56,000 purchases on it. So it was very, very well versed in finding potential customers and buyers. And it knew where to kind of send most of the spend to, right? It knew that these 5 ad sets, let's just say, for example, like these top 5. Let me go back real quick. So it knew that, like, let's just say, for example, these top 5 over here are the ones that were doing the best. So it sent the majority of the spend to these ad sets over here. Okay. It did it on its own. We didn't have to go in and manually kind of mess with the budgets for each and every single one and have to kind of check and cross reference and lower the budget and increase the budget and make all the changes that we needed to make. We could just make the changes all at once to our main campaign and then just be good for the day. Okay. Or at least for when we were checking. Again, the ABO, a lot more manual, but as you can see, the results are worth it. With CBO, we were able to scale further. Still, we did a really good amount in profit with this one campaign. But I just wanted to kind of show you visually the difference between the CBO and the ABO, at least in this account and for us. And again, guys, CBO versus ABO is going to work in every single account. It really just depends on what the account kind of prefers a little bit more. And it also depends on what you want to run and how you want to run. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter ABO versus CBO. All that matters is having a good offer and a good ad and just making sure that those two work together. And then you're good. It really doesn't matter ABO versus CBO. I mean, you could do any type of campaign that you wanted to, and it would still work if you have a good ad and a good offer. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back over here, guys. Now, I want to jump into the campaign structure for those campaigns that we saw. Okay, so for the big one that spent $7.5 million, we started it as a CBO campaign, okay? And the CBO campaign has 4 ad sets. Now, if this looks familiar, it's because we covered this in the previous video. If you want to check that out, go ahead and check out the previous video. But I'm going to go ahead and cover it again in this video because I think it's important. So again, we have 4 ad sets that we start for every campaign that we have. So we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And for each of those 4 ad sets, we have 4 videos and 1 image in each ad set, right? And for the creatives for these ad sets, we have 2 different ideologies that we like to use and test. The first one is that all 4 ad sets have identical creatives to start. And the second one is that each ad set varies by different angles, hooks, or opening scenes. Now, when you're first getting started, okay, and you have a limited budget, I would recommend you get started with the second ideology here. But if you have a little bit more budget, you know that that offer is good and it converts, and you have ads that you know are going to do well, I would recommend testing both of these side by side. But for simplicity's sake and for budget's sake, I would recommend getting started with number 2. That way you're testing more variation and you can kind of see a lot more data across the board. And I like to start my campaigns for Nutra around $300 per day. If you're testing lead gen, you can get away with getting started with anywhere from $10 to $100 per day in budget. But once the campaigns have spent for about a day or 2, you can go ahead and move over to reading the data and moving into the testing and scaling phase if the campaign allows for it. Okay. So again, we're going to read the data and we're going to see which ones to cut and duplicate. Okay. So ad set 1 and 3 for this example are break even or negative after 24 to 48 hours, and they've spent the AOV for the product. So each one of these has spent at least $150 to $200. We see that we're breaking even or we're down, and it's this one spent like $200 and it's made 0 sales. This one spent $200 and it's made 1 sale. Obviously, we're going to cut these because these ones here are the winners because they've spent $200 and they've made at least 2 to 3 sales each. Okay, so what we would do on day after day 1 or 2, we would go ahead and turn off these 2 ad sets here, and we would duplicate ad set 2 and ad set 4, right? And we're going to go ahead and move over to the next one. And this is where we're going to have fresh variations in the campaign. So as you can see, into day 2, into day 3, we're going to have ad set 2, ad set 4, and then ad set number 5 and ad set number 6 running, okay? And we have 2 different methods, just like we had 2 different ideologies when we first started testing. And again, there is no right or wrong way to do this. It's really just depends on feel. And if you just want to throw in new variations, or if these seem to be doing well and you just want to duplicate them and have identical ads inside of the campaign, just keep on testing the vein if they're doing well. Now, what I would do when you're first getting started is the first method, right? You want to have identical dupes in the early stages of the campaign. Okay. You want to have identical dupes. So what I would have ad set 5 and ad set 6 be is just an identical duplicate of ad set number 2 and ad set number 4. You just want to keep on getting into new veins of traffic, keep on having your winners run for as long as possible. But then, say you're scaling to $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 per day, and you see that your ROI is starting to drop, then you want to go ahead and try to beat the control. Okay. So your new duplicates for your new ad sets are going to have slight variations of your winning ads based on speed, hook, opening scene, actor, the scene for the video itself, just to try to get more profit, more ROI out of the campaign. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work. Most of the time, we see that it increases the lifespan of the campaign, and a campaign that we might have been able to spend only $100,000 on, we were able to spend $500,000 on because we kept on beating the control. We kept on giving Facebook new variations. And again, just like we talked about earlier, Facebook loves having fresh new variations for their algorithm. And oftentimes these changes, guys, are just speeding the video up slightly, changing the color contrast. We're not going back. We're not reinventing the wheel. It's just very, very micro variations that Facebook sees as completely new videos, and they show it to new pockets of traffic, and you keep on getting more ROI out of your campaigns. And just to kind of give you like a little overview of what the campaign can look like once it's more mature and you're scaling and you're spending, $5,000, $10,000 per day or more on the campaign, right? It's going to become a lot bigger, right? So it's going to be kind of like that CBO that I showed you inside of the ad account that had a couple hundred ad sets, right? So here, I believe we have like 24 ad sets, but as you can see here, I kind of like tried to vary it as it would be. So ad set 6 did well. We kept on running it. Then 7 and 8 didn't do well, but then number 9 did well. Number 12 did well. Number 13 did well. Not every single ad set that you duplicate is going to do well, but you just want to keep on duplicating and keep finding ad sets that are going to perform, right? And as we talked about with the CBO, Meta's going to already know which ad set to push more spend to. So it could be that, for one day, 60% of the spend is going to go to ad set number 38 because that's converting the best, and then the next day it's going to be ad set number 14, and then the next day it's going to be ad set number 26. It jumps around every now and then, but as long as the ad set is profitable and doing well, I would keep it going, right? If it's spent $100 and it's made one sale and it's at $200, keep the ad set going, because if it's profitable, why cut it? But that is pretty much a bird's eye overview of how I approach testing, scaling, reading the data. And as you can see here, it's really just a matter of duplicating at a certain stage. I know there's people that like to do completely different scaling strategies, but for me and for what I like to do, I've always liked to keep it simple. I like having 1, 2, maybe 3 campaigns max per account when scaling, and just scaling vertically rather than scaling horizontally. And as we start wrapping this video up, guys, I want to show you the scaling progression for the winning campaigns here. So again, we start with a budget of $300 on the CBO. Day one is going to be $300. If it's doing well, and by doing well, you're seeing 100 to 200% ROI on the first day, I would go ahead and double the budget to $600. Day 3, you can double the budget or take it up to $1,000 if it's still doing well and performing well. Day 4, $1,500 to $2,000. Again, almost doubling it. Day 5, $2,500 to $3,000, and then day 6 and beyond. In order to start hitting those higher numbers, I would recommend increasing your budget by 20 to 50% per day, or every other day, depending on what performance looks like, right? Some days you're going to be able to increase, some days performance is going to drop. So you're going to have to almost penalize the algorithm and drop your budget slightly. So then it kind of goes back to that original performance. If it stabilizes for a day, then you can go ahead and continue to scale. But it's very, very simple. At first, up to about $2,000 per day in budget, you can double your budget all the way up there. And then after that, about 20 to 50% per day, depending on what the ROI looks like. And now I want to go ahead and cover the key metrics that I like to look at in order to make my decisions based off of. And it's going to be these 4 metrics here. Okay, so it's going to be your CPC and CTR, your CPM, your lander CTR, and your checkout to sales ratio. So your CPC and CTR, for those that don't know, are your cost per click and your click-through rate. A high cost per click and a low click-through rate means that your ad is not really resonating with the audience that it's being shown to, or Facebook doesn't like the ad. And as you'll see here through all of these metrics that we're looking at, it really comes down to your ad not resonating with the audience or Facebook not liking the ad, okay? Up next, we have your CPM. So a high CPM, right? Anything over $80 to $100 means that Meta does not like something about your ad. If you're talking about weight loss and you're showing these crazy weight loss transformations and you're saying that people can lose 20 pounds overnight, obviously it's not true. Meta does not like that. They want to have a good user experience for their users, and they're going to penalize you by giving your ad higher costs or straight out rejecting your ad, right? You want to be able to be compliant with the platforms, and always keep that in mind. Okay, like you cannot show anything crazy. If you're talking about auto insurance, you can't tell people that they're going to save 100% on their auto insurance bill. Obviously that's not true. You want to see what the offer is talking about and kind of borrow your copy from the offer, okay, and just keep that compliant. And then if you have low CPM, it's less than $10 to $20 in CPM, you're likely being served low quality traffic. And the best thing to get around the CPM is to edit your ad, take out the parts that Meta doesn't like, and go ahead and relaunch the campaign, okay? Up next, we have the landing page CTR. Now, I like seeing the landing page CTR because it's an indicator of traffic quality, okay? And you can bypass the landing page CTR and you can send straight to the VSL, but you need to have access to the metrics on the VSL. You need to see the amount of times that people hit play on the VSL. You need to see the amount of people that say 30 seconds to 3 minutes to 10 minutes. It's a whole different set of metrics to look for. And if you're just getting started, you likely won't be able to host the VSL yourself. You're probably not technical, or you just don't have the connection to get the VSL and be able to host the entire funnel on your own landing page and your own website. Okay. So again, I still like to use the landing page CTR. For me, that's the best indicator of traffic quality. Now, a sweet spot for a bridge page is going to be right around 40 to 60%. And then the sweet spot for a quiz page is going to be 30 to 40%. Okay. If your numbers fall to the 10 to 30% range for either of these landing pages, again, it means that your traffic quality is likely bad and you need to relaunch the campaign. And then lastly, if you're running a Nutra product or an ecom product, the checkout to sales ratio matters a lot as well. The sweet spot is typically getting one sale for every 2.5 to 3 checkouts that people start on your website and on your landing page. Okay. If your ratio is 1 in 5 and 10, then your offer is not a good converting offer, or you're getting lower quality traffic. So what I would recommend doing if you have a high checkout to sales ratio is to just switch the offer. And a lot of times I've seen that with an identical campaign, same ads, same funnel, same everything, just changing the offer on the back end is the difference between your campaign barely breaking even and doing 100% ROI. And I want to wrap this video up, guys, with talking about what prevents people from succeeding with affiliate marketing. Okay, so the first one is going to be creative output. Okay, creative output beats granular targeting every single time. Look, in this ad account that I've been showing you guys, we've launched over 5,000 ads in the ad account. Most of them are variations, but Meta needs variation and creative output in order to scale and give you favorable traffic. Okay. If you're only testing 10 ads a week, or 20 ads a month, 30 ads a month, it's just not going to cut it. Okay. You need to test a whole lot of ads. You need to be testing 100 ads a week, 200 ads a week, whatever it is. And most of those can be variations. Okay. And there's a lot of different ways that you can make those variations without having to create a bunch of ads. And we show you how to do this with some of the AI tools that we use. Okay. And if you're using a Mac like I am, there's a program called Terminal. And what you can do is get ChatGPT to give you a command where you take 5 hooks that are the hook and the opening scene. So they're already in video format. You have the body that's in video format, and you have a final CTA that's in video format. You have 5, 5, and 5, right? 5 times 5 times 5, that's 125 different video variations that you can have from creating just 15 different pieces of content. Okay. And that already puts you leagues ahead of other people, because remember, at the end of the day, sometimes it's not about an individual ad, it's just a variation that Meta chooses. Okay. So even though most of those variations, of those 125 variations, are going to be very similar and very alike, there's going to be one that Meta just decides to choose and decides to spend more money on, and you're able to scale that one variation. Okay. Next up is going to be consistency. Consistency in your ad account beats any hacks or tips that you can think of. Again, you need to be launching new ads each and every single day. I would shoot for at least 100 ads and variations each and every single week until you're scaling. Then you can get away with doing a little bit more and feeding your campaign a little bit less variation. But to get started, you need to be taking massive action, and you need to be launching new ads every single day in your account. Up next, one of the things that prevents people from succeeding with affiliate marketing is scaling based on noise. Okay. If you're not profitable at a low budget, you're not going to be profitable at a higher budget. Meaning, if you're spending a couple $100 a day and you don't have 100 to 200% ROI, if you're spending $3,000 per day, that campaign is not going to win. Sure, you might be breaking even, but at the end of the day, those are just going to be vanity metrics. If you want to do it to accumulate credit card points and you just want to spend $5,000 a day at break even and be able to get 15,000 credit card points, then go ahead and do it. But just know that it really does make sense, right? You want to be scaling based on ROI. And lastly, again, guys, to end the video, offer. The offer is the most important part of the funnel, and a weak offer will never scale. So if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to help me out by leaving a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.